instead of putting the learning targets up on the screen now and having that be in your mind, we're going to do an inquiry-based lesson. So you guys are going to do some work before we talk about the learning targets. And my hope is that you are all, well, I know you are all intelligent people, and my hope is that you will come up with some of our learning targets on your own as you glean from this initial text. So take one of these handouts and pass the pile on to your neighbor. Okay. And your task right now is to read the excerpt at the top of the page and annotate the text. We've worked on annotating in the past, and the things that I want you to pay attention to are keywords, so you can just underline the keywords on your handout. And make notes in the margin. What are the key ideas? What is the mood or tone of this passage? And what is the situation that the character is? It's in the third person, and this character is experiencing something very profound and very new. And I'd like you guys to think about what this character is experiencing. So I'll give you guys a few minutes to quickly read through and annotate right on your paper. And you'll notice I've also repeated these questions below the excerpt on your sheet under your task. I'll guide your reading. Okay, take about 20 more seconds to finish up the ideas that you've been starting to write down. Okay, and pencils down, everybody. Whatever you've got right now is great. We're going to press the rewind button for a second. And I'm going to take us back to the unit that we just concluded, where we talked about these three large movements in the history of the United States. We talked about slavery, we talked about abolitionism, and sectionalism. These all as culminating and very impactful movements that all had momentum leading to the Civil War and also had repercussions after the Civil War. Can you guys shout out some big ideas in terms of societal issues that occurred during these movements or during these big issues?
Underground Railroad?
Underground Railroad. Okay, that was more like an event. I'm thinking like more like, for example, oppression or
words.
how were people affected by these movements, or what were some of those like really general qualities of human existence?
Abuse.
Abuse. Great. Yeah.
Discrimination.
Yeah. This is the line I'm thinking of. Awesome. What else?
Illiteracy or lack of literacy.
Oh, cool. Fear. Did I hear fear?
Fear.
Great.
Ownership.
Ownership. Excellent.
Control.
Control.
Freedom.
Yes.
Entrapment on the opposite end.
Upper class convenience.
Okay. Yeah. Class divisions. Great. Anne-Marie, do you have anything else to add to this list here?
No, that's a pretty good list, actually.
Nick, any other thoughts?
No, I think that's good.
Okay, excellent. So I'm curious if any of these words also made it into your annotations or remarks on this excerpt.
Yes.
Raise your hand if something similar, if not an exact word, appeared. Awesome. Great. Right now, share with a partner what you annotated and focus on these questions. What are the key ideas? What is the mood tone? And what do you think the character is experiencing?
What do you think?
Okay. Well, let's see. What's the key ideas? I think one of the key ideas is kind of, you know, this passage is kind of abstracted from slavery a little bit, I think, so when I read it, I thought it was embracing a change. Like scary or just and I think even now, you know, thinking about slavery, I think that's still kind of true because I think, as much as of course I was slavery, there was probably a little bit of fear of how it was life like since it never so,
Decisions that you have to make.
yeah.
I didn't necessarily see it tied in to slavery. I sort of thought of it as maybe a woman who's been trapped either in a bad relationship or being held captive, like in a situation where she was abducted. So those were the two ideas that I had. So the very beginning is about fear and terror, but then towards the end of the passage, it turns to joy and anticipation.
Great. Okay. Let's see. Megan,
Yes.
can you share one thought that you and your partner discussed?
Well, we highlighted words like powerless, abandoned, whispered, and kind of tied that into this feeling, this lack of control, and maybe, and kind of like being enslaved to something. And then Shannon was saying that as soon as she saw the word escaped, the whisper words escaped her mouth. That was kind of this release of that. It was coming into like a new sort of existence. I don't know.
Nikki, what did your group talk about? It doesn't have to be your own idea. It can be the partner's idea.
This should be your own idea.
Emily thought that it may have been an orgasm.
Okay. I think that is definitely and in fact, that idea actually is embodied in this movement. So if I were to tell you that this is one of the first seminal texts of a movement just as large as these huge issues that occurred